Yes. Okay, so if we were, we've been through, just to be very sort of quick about it, we've seen, you and I are typical people that are currently involved in the Dacxi project. Okay, so we've seen it grow over the last year or so, and we've got a lot of people who have, of course, been in even a lot longer than that. But we've seen a steady growth up to, a predictable, growth. The Ed Ludbrook show, the rollout, and we just see steady progress with the price changing and all of that upside. It's been pretty easy to sell in a lot of ways. It's been steady, believable, steady. The build's been steady. Things have happened on track, which I think is good for when we look back and we think, well, the way that it was supposed to go. If we went back even to the beginning of 2019, the story then was very strong about in the A4 coffee chat and so forth. It was very strong then in terms of this is what's going to happen. York Stock Exchange is going to happen. This whole thing, the institutions are going to buy in. Dacxi will do this. Build off, the garden we started was, this is our big picture. It's going to be, crowdfunding, enterprise crowdfunding, a whole big thing, right? And the whole thing was leading to New York Stock Exchange entry, the involvement and the credibility of cryptocurrency merging stronger and stronger and stronger all during the year. And whilst that was happening, of course, we had very good upside rising of key crypto coins like Bitcoin and the like, the blue chips.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything's on track, everything's going okay. And then we had, a funny sort of situation where it all stopped pretty quickly in June. And the market stopped. It had risen from that stage 300% thereabouts. It had gone from basically 4,000 to 12,000 in the pricing of Australia. I think Australian dollar that's roughly what it was, yeah, something like that. But about somewhere between 200% and 300%. So we're all pretty happy and pretty buoyant at this particular point in time. It's solving. We're able to go out and talk to people about solving a problem of what's going on out in the open market, and offer people an opportunity to, as per a la coffee chat, which is all of the standard stuff, the real estate, the banks, and so forth are certainly not performing. You've got really news coming through the normal channels about an economic downturn worldwide. And, the hero of the whole show being the possibility of the real adoption of cryptocurrency as a store of value generally, that would be rising. And, from February right through to June, that played out virtually as it was predicted. And you couldn't be anything but excited. However, at about that time, there was considerable relief. In other words, the market went. Let me just show you here, and I can demonstrate this here now. One sec here. Share here with you. Right, this slide here. All right, so you can see this. I think that will probably okay about there. All right, so you can see that clearly.
Yeah.
All right, so the story that we began telling, and that really was, it was you're talking about down here when where the market was in its trough after the 17-18 routine. And then you've got things starting to sort of shake up a little bit here. That's as far back as December 18. And then it goes along, shuffles along, pops along in this. You've got some little pop up here. There's February 24 there. And you've got to there's a bit of life in it. The story starts that we're on the rise back up to here. So it rolls through, and then it gets to here, which is April, and you get the first big sign that the story that we've begun to tell is beginning to come true. You've got a flicker here, and then boom, here. Some real action and some real reason to go out to the market and get excited about something's working at last. Here it comes. And that story went through from April through to here in June, to the end of June.
Yeah.
Right? So the ball game began to change and become a lot different from that time. So you got a real drop back in the that's quite a substantial drop from 14,000 down to 9,000. So you've had yourself a real wow, what happened there? And then you had a little bit of, oh, it's okay. But this time it's gone up, but hasn't retraced back to its former high. So you've got the beginning of a downward trend here. The lows themselves have gone from that low there to a lower low. So you've got a lower high and a lower low. We now have a trend down. A change from this trend here, which was clearly very strong up. So, and that has continued. And if you saw that posting that was on, there's a posting that was done earlier, beautiful prediction, which is, I've been saying this, as you know, for quite a while now.
Yeah.
This trend here is leading the current cryptocurrency market into a very downward strong trend. Now, if we are, and the culture and we are either right in as far as the future, the upward future of the cryptocurrency market worldwide. We're seeing news, we're seeing announcements that very, very strongly support the growth of the industry, the acceptance of the industry. Things like the Barclays Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange getting in, backed with real live credible reports about what's going on. You've got now the massive, situation with China, the discussion about China getting in with what they're doing now. And this is key to what I believe needs to be done from here on in terms of what's going on. We're seeing it's either going to go to, the worst case scenario is it's going to go to nothing somewhere down here, which I think is not, given the fact of the news that we've got with people getting into cryptocurrency and valid comments by people that have been in it a long time, it's not going to go to nothing. However, we are involved in a situation where we've got, it's going sideways, and it's going sideways strongly. And the comments are, my belief is, it ain't going to stop. Now, so I'm going to stay long on this. In other words, I believe that it's just not going to go away. But I believe with the amount of players that we have in the market, particularly big players, if you look at the story, for instance, that it's a credible story that's been documented wide enough to be credible. There's no way the New York Stock Exchange and corporations like the people that have funded the New York Stock Exchange into the market on the basis that they want to have the funds that are available in America, trillions and so forth, in the market in Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. They're just not going to invest at that level to have the whole thing go away. The comments and the business around what we know about big banks, particularly even in Australia, our own Australian Westpac Bank, who we know are major investors in Bitcoin and Bitcoin technology. So they obviously have a long-term picture, like we do, that this trend here will in fact be reversed, and the further it goes down, the better it's going to be when it reverses. Yeah. So the logic of it is For me though, is looking at it from if I was the New York Stock Exchange, or better still, if I was Fidelity, who's sitting on trillions of dollars, why would you take out of your bank $1 trillion to invest on behalf of your investors and buy a whole bunch of Bitcoin at 10,000 US dollars when you can quietly work the market down to say 4,500, then put $1 trillion in? Now, to me, if I'm as an investor perspective, that would be what I would do. I wouldn't be hanging around buying it up here. If you can actually work the market with the power that you've got by selling off, which you see here down the bottom, can you see that there?
Yeah.
That's someone probably putting $1 billion or a $50 million selling out a whole bunch of Bitcoin. And the rest of the people in the market, which there's not a lot, there's evidently, from reports and study that I've been doing, there's not that many people that are surprisingly few, less than 1 million from what I understand. Don't quote me on this, but it's a surprisingly few amount of people that are holding all the Bitcoin. Right, so it's not like in this market here, which is reduced down now to a market cap from $200 billion down to $140 billion. So a lot of people have sold out, and that's only the market cap, of course, that is public. I don't think it includes the non-public. But without getting into a big discussion here, will this go down to, see, look, at the trend, it looks very straightforward. These things, you can see it following the trend line down here. In fact, it's lower there now. So the trend lines, these trend lines show ups to where it could go up. But you can see here, when we were sitting on this trend line here, if it was going to break through that trend line, this one here, and go low, its next stop is here.
Yeah.
6,500. Now, that thing that's just been put in, if you look on the $10 million, the 10 million DAC Club Facebook thing there, there's I think Sue was one of the people that put in there. There's a post that's been put in there which is very good. It shows a panel talking, and they're talking exactly this. Is it long-term credible? Absolutely. Will it be up here, way up here sometime? Yes, it will be.
Where do you find that one, Phil?
Pardon?
Where do you find that talk?
It's on, I won't cover it now, but I'll show it to you later. If you look in, the DAC, on the Facebook pages, the DAC SEQLD, and there's the other one, which is the 10 billion, the 10 million. He's got another, I think Andrew's opened up another one there. But anyway, let me give it to you later. But
Okay.
On that, there's a posting and a group that you can follow, which has a very clever bunch of a panel who were drawing exactly the same as me here and saying exactly the same thing. There's only one place, if this doesn't turn itself around and break through this line and start heading up soon, it's more likely to go down to 50 to 45 than it is to go up.
Yeah.
At the moment, if it follows this trend. Now, the other thing about that is, look at this. So you've got the rise here, but now your dates are out this is April 2020.
Yeah.
And it's still less than 10,000.
Yeah.
Right? So we're not looking at anything. This is just the way the trend looks, but it's a possibility. Now, again, we believe that there's no way that the people that are out there who are in the know and the millions of dollars that the New York Stock Exchange has put in already gives us confidence that this is just a wind down of the market to provide an opportunity for people to buy low, and there will be a breakthrough. Now, if you can see this trend where it's going here is met here by a line of coming up. So, and you'll see there's got to be something happen here. This is an ideal opportunity for it to meet a crossroad and fire up from here. So we could get that in December. You can see the going down is met by a trend line going up and crosses. Where it crosses, it could very well be the sign of a break north.
Okay.
So all this being the case, this is just my hypothesis. You know, it's not the opinion of Dacxi or whatever it is. However, there's strong agreement with what's going on here. One, there is long-term confidence, definitely, and this chart here relates to bundles, nothing to do with DAC. This is a bundle. This is only Bitcoin, and the normal cryptocurrency outside the DAX and so forth of this world are very much driven by what happens. What happens with Bitcoin happens with Ethereum, Litecoin, and a lot of the rest of the market. Really, there's nothing performing at all. The Bitcoin calls the shots about what it's doing. And if it's going to go down and down and down, there's going to be some tremendous buying opportunities as it goes down for us to put in. For me, from my personal opinion, from what I think is going to happen, if it does go down to where it's looking like going down at the moment to the 4.5s or whatever, then I believe it's going to be an almighty rise up when it happens. So it's going to be a nice, as I've said, I made a comment back there. So I'm still very, on the long-term market, I'm still very bullish that all that's happened and what this trend has done is that there's some playing out there in the market with the big boys that is going to just see us in an ordinary space for a little while in the general market. Now, that's just...
How does that affect the DAC? That affects the DAC coin value too, does it?
Well, what I'm saying here now is our strategy, and I believe all it does is that in the garden that we're playing in now, we're playing. You know, we were looking at an easy story to run when our coin's going in April through to June, 300% rise. Then it's very easy for punters to be able to, and people like ourselves and the people in our teams to be able to go, guess what? Look what's going on, and show them and whatever. There's a good story there. Okay. Yeah. So now we've got a story that actually is a complete reverse of this. Yeah. In other words, if we're going out to market, we can hardly say to people, oh, have you seen the latest thing that's going on with Bitcoin? Because that's not going to work. They're going to go on. Anybody that knows us, hang on, it's now dropped about 35 or 40%. It's back to where it was in May at the beginning of this year. So what are we now going to the market and saying? What is our confidence step? What is our genuine story about approaching people on the phone, as I've demonstrated? See, we have to get out. You know, we as leaders here, we have to have a strategy, and we have to be able to motivate our teams and our people who are, one, maybe less capable than us of just picking up the phone and talking off the cuff, and who have that's really a job that we've got to do. And two, being able to talk to people on the basis of something that is believable based on what we see here. And what I believe is the key to it is now talking about cryptocurrency credibility as a big picture. And I think you'll find that that's what Andrew is currently doing in his presentations now. He's not so much focusing on, well, there's two things. Whilst our DAC argument or discussion is going to be affected or could be affected by this picture, we are playing in a different field here. And this is important that I believe it's very important that we define and have ourselves, when we're discussing or talking about this, now I think the bigger picture of us as a crowdfunding, as an enterprise crowdfunding organization, now is the time that discussion needs to be brought into who we are versus what's going on out in the market with a thing like Bitcoin. In other words, we have to have a point of difference here. So I think
funny you should say that, Phil.
Sorry?
It's funny you should say that, because that's exactly kind of what I've realised I had to focus on.
Well, you know, You know the
yeah,
thing you sent me today about that thing we're all going to?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to take some of that, because that is, you've got people that are seriously credible out in the market now. I mean, that dead guy has some stickability, right? So in Brisbane, we go to that, and what they're talking about, of course, is an overall perspective on the cryptocurrency market and its significance in general. It's no longer about, I'll go buy some Bitcoin. We're talking now conceptually about the long-term implications of what is going to happen in the Western world and pretty well everywhere else with the alternative currencies that are coming through.
Yeah, but you have to talk about what we're going to use it for.
Pardon?
We have to focus on, like, okay, it's great to have DAC and it's going up, or it's great to have Bitcoin and it's going up. But the real point that everyone really needs to look at is, well, what are we going to be able to use it for? And how usable is it going to be? And
all right,
okay. So the thing is that this idea, I had this conversation an hour ago with someone actually, mentioning, she complained that no money in the bank at the moment, and where do you put your money in that? I said, well, I'm investing in crypto. Oh, that's going down. I said, well, temporarily, and I explained to her, you know, just what you've been through in the last half hour. And I said, but the bigger picture with what I'm involved with is that crypto is a form of currency that's going to be able to be used in places where the normal fiat currency isn't going to be used, and it's going to be used for humanitarian and good ventures, projects.
Right.
So you have to bring crowdfunding into, I think you have to bring crowdfunding as a vision into why you would hold DAC. Okay, a lot of people will just want to make money buying and selling it or whatever, but a lot of other people will want a utilitarian purpose for holding on to it.
All right. Okay, so we're on the same page here. All I'm really saying is this, particularly now, is that we need to craft a discussion or a presentation or a conversation that is relatively, let me just, what's the word for this? Is it's got to be relatively simple, and remember, it's got to actually strike and land on the ears of somebody who's looking for something that they are looking for.
Yeah.
Right. So we can have a lot of philosophies and a lot of discussions around the good of it, but the discussion's got to be conceptually simple, you know, so that it doesn't get off on, because, you know, when you start a conversation with somebody along these lines, is that, you know, apart from your, you know, your ability to satisfy the fundamentals, right, that we've talked about, the check up from the neck up, we don't talk to anyone unless we find ourselves in a state that is going to make sure that the best outcome for that conversation is going to happen, because we're going to have a lot of them. We're going to have a lot of them, a lot of conversations to make progress. So one, our state's in good shape. Two, in other words, we're talking to someone about engaging, about some rapport, some what are you up to, before any discussion comes in about the thing that we would like to eventually get to in the conversation. So that ability, that warm up, at meet and greet situation needs to be practiced and warmed through if you want real efficiency from a discussion that you're going to have, because where we're leading to in the conversation and where we're leading, you know, whoever we're talking to, is to where they want to go in the value. And really the bottom line is better, you know, wealth creation and a better performance from whatever money that they have now and that they're going to get in the future. Because remember, at this particular point in time, any DAC that gets bought or any cryptocurrency at all that comes into our enterprise crowdfunding has got to come from fiat currency. So they've got to have themselves some money in the first place. to buy what we want them to buy.
Yeah.
So the value proposition for them is to say, if we keep it simple, is look, do you, I say to, you can say to people how what they're going, what are they doing? What's going on at the moment in their life in terms of their savings, or their increasing or bettering their position from a wealth perspective? Are they finding themselves, as some people find them, do they have a savings account? Are they at the moment in a position where they're actually got a job, income, whatever it may be, where they have savings, or they have investments, or are they, marking time in terms of, because you just said to me, for instance, a typical, and you get this now, particularly now, I don't have money in the bank, and I'm just, at the moment, what I'm doing is just getting by. And you'll see, I think this is probably going to get worse before it gets better. But at the end of the day, when we approach someone, or when we decide we're going to speak to somebody, it's probably a good idea for us to, if we've got a list in front of us, to be looking to be able to talk to somebody who's not, not in financial hardship right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're looking at people that we know, at least, that are putting some percentage of what they're earning, they're in a stable situation where they can. Now, the reason we do that, of course, is, and we don't know when we help someone with their shopping in the supermarket and begin to strike up a friendship or a relationship or some sort of connection with them, you don't know how that's going to go, but you could probably tell by what they're dressed in and so on and so forth. It's just, as people who have been in the market in a position to, you can usually tell if someone is the sort of person that you might meet somewhere, and they might want to talk about, their lives, whatever it may be, and then eventually ask you, what are you doing, or whatever, and come up with a thing that says, well, yeah, you're right, our money isn't, our money in the bank's not working properly, and be open at least to some conversation about, the kids that need help, or so many people our age at the moment have got kids that need help, that are on their way up and beginning to listen or beginning to sort it, and they need help. And we've got a vehicle for that perfectly.
Yeah.
Coming up to Christmas, Christmas, what better, smart, and really, viable and credible Christmas present than a $100 Dacpack for Christmas, or a $1,000 Dacpack for Christmas. All of these sort of things. So all I'm saying is that I think we need to keep it simple on the basis of, and when I approach people, and that's what I've just done in the telephone conversation example that I did, right? It's just to break the ground with somebody, whether I'm ringing somebody that I haven't spoken to for years, or I see somebody or whatever, but meet and greet, first of all, make sure your head's right. From now on, when I talk to people, I seriously imagine that they've got $1,000 in their back pocket, and they would be happy to help me help them turn that into $1,900 in 6 months' time. And so I don't care who they are. That's the way I talk to them. I talk to them as though they would be happy. All I've got to do is to get them to trust me long enough, for me to say to them, would you like that? Would you be open to discussing that proposition? Now, my ethic is in place. My love for them and helping them is in place. So it's only a matter of me being able to open my heart to them, to connect with them, and begin to discuss something that's working that you'd like to discuss with them. No different than if you'd just been to the best restaurant in your whole life, and you got to talking to someone that was pretty close to the top, and you just say to them with excitement and passion, oh my God, I just went to this restaurant around the corner. Or I saw a movie last night that it shook me. It was the best movie I've ever seen. And it was incredible, So, when we do that, our vibration and our passion and our connection with somebody else of giving to them is there. This has got to be no different. And the practice of doing that, and, the practice of doing that is just practice. Until we get to a point where, we greet people and talk to them as though they really want to hear what we've got to say. And until they either walk away from you or say, I'm not interested in discussing that, and you say, well, thanks for giving me your time, and I just thought it's working so beautifully for us. I thought I might talk to you about it. If you're not interested in it, thank you for at least allowing me to have an initial discussion with you. Enjoy your day. I'll get back to whatever it may be. But you've got to go down. I believe you've got to, you can be spontaneous, but some of the people that we're talking to now that are in our groups and so forth, we need to actually help them practice. Keep it simple. Who's got their, is that you, Susan? Someone's got noise around them.
Vixen, you know what? You don't dumble.
Sue? Susan Cook's got a phantom, some phantom there going on. I don't know what it is, but anyway. You know, I just think that we need to be in a situation where we've got to, you know, one, what position are we in? What do we believe the position is? Well, one, this chart shows you straight away, we can't be going in and telling people how wonderful the cryptocurrency industry is at the moment and how it's growing and how it's just, it's a no-brainer. If we look at the left-hand side of this, of our talk and our discussion, what we're talking to them, and we're talking to them between April and June, it would have been very easy for us to just go, guess what? You know, have you heard about this? Do you know what's going on? Show them a picture, tell them, and just go, boom, boom. This has already gone up 100%. It's going to go up another 100%, and fairly, you know, with a little bit of credibility, say, boom, boom. This is easy. On the other side, on the slippery slide downhill where we're in at the moment, which is not looking like changing soon, then we can't be talking to them on the same level. We've got to be talking to them about the longer term. Is mine. It's how I do it. I've been talking to them about it, and you'll find that this is what Andrew is doing as well. We're now talking about the absolute credibility and the go forward of cryptocurrency in general. So we're not attracting attention to a specific coin at the moment. We'll get round to that when we talk about the difference that the Dacxi coin and the difference between our organization versus those people that are just running around playing with coins, because that's not what we're doing. So our discussion and our approach has got to be fundamentally different than what it was before, is my belief. So I'm now talking to people about the more longer term, and is that this is coming, and it is in fact working its way down into a position where it will undoubtedly reverse. So at the moment, the best thing that could happen for us is that if it did go to 4.5, because it would present us with such a buying opportunity that would just be unparalleled. We couldn't beat it, you know. So, and that again, if we look at the usual thing that people, you know, when we're talking to people, or when we want to, you know, we want to come with passion to a discussion, the reverse is now the case. Look, this is moving itself into a situation where it's going to, you know, with the money that's invested in the industry, and with China moving in now, and with the gold coming in as well, this is just presenting itself as an amazing opportunity. You know, it's got to reverse. You know, people don't spend banks don't spend hundreds of millions of dollars getting into this industry because it's just plain not going to work. You know, the American Senate committees and the Chinas of this world, the biggest economy in the world almost, doesn't all of a sudden announce that it's getting into cryptocurrency to run alongside their currency, you know, ongoing into the future, because cryptocurrency is not going to work. It's just the likelihood of that being the case is just plain not there as far as I'm concerned. And you may find yourself, and I think we are going to find ourselves now, again, talking in terms of lots of people coming in again on $100 in this situation. I think the practice of getting out there and talking to people and doing it in a way that, because you know, the more people you talk to, the better you get at this. And I think that's what we've got a problem with at the moment. I think that people have gone, oh my God, things have changed now. The story we've learned all this way up has changed. We're not sure about what our new story is going to be. So I don't think there's a lot of people right now. I don't think there's a lot of people out there on the phone or out there talking to people with a confidence, and two, I don't think they've got a story to tell, a new story to tell that changes the aspect a little bit to be more relevant. And I think that's where, I mean, I can do it, and I'm doing it now.
Just hang on a minute, Phil.
Yep.
I've just got a call here. I'll just have to.
You go if you're off. Dave.
I won't be a minute.
Yep, Dave.
Yeah, I'm here, Phil.
All right. You know, you get this. You on board with this?
Yeah, I had about 40 discussions today, and kept way away from the word investment, and stuck to education.
Okay, well that's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind just saying, because really at the end of the day, I'm not so hot on that. I'm not. At the end of the day, we are talking about people taking money out of their bank account and funding into. You cannot use the word investment if you like, but the fact is that we are going to encourage them to take money out of their bank account and move it into something that'll work better for them. So it's an alternative bank account, is what I say. I say my savings account is now my Dacxi exchange account, and in that I've got various different types of cryptocurrency, which are some of them are long-term funding, but at the end of the day, it's an investment. It's an investment in a savings account. But you can say what you want to say, but at the end of the day, the fundamental exercise that's got to happen here, no matter how it happens, is that someone that loves what we're talking about and does what we ask them to do, is going to their bank account, taking it and putting it in the exchange. That's the bottom line. Doesn't matter whether it's super, $100,000 or whatever it may be, or $100 to get in and suck it and see and do what we know the trend is. Anyone that gets in with $100 is soon going to turn that to 1,000 and beyond. But at the moment, the problem we have is, I sense that there's most of the people we know are not as comfortable to be out there talking to people about it now, about the whole thing, as they were 6 months ago when it was massively on the rise.
This is the whole point of getting people to a presentation so they can spend an hour with us, and you can ram it down, we can ram it home. But
I don't think it is. I mean, I don't. I look at whilst we've got to.
I didn't have time to talk about what you're talking about. People they're at work, they're trying to do stuff. We've got to invest. What you're doing and the project of with Sue and the girls in the Winner Manly thing is definitely about trying anything, trying everything. We can't. Yes, we've known, and we've seen it the whole way through, and it still doesn't work. Getting people to presentations, dragging them from wherever they are. We are trying a new exercise here where we're going to a new level of doing what we're doing. But all of the presentations that are happening up until, Andrew had, I think, 25 people at the last Atherton meeting.
That's pretty good.
Well, it is good. He's been working on it now for 2.5 years. And he's got 25 people coming along to it in a local area where everyone trusts and knows each other.
I think
we know what's been happening in Brisbane and everywhere else. Nothing. 5, 10, maybe. And we've had meetings. The last meeting I was at the we've had 10s and 15s and 20s, but that's the way it is at the moment, right? So the avenue of getting people to a place is one thing. The avenue of getting people onto calls like this, it just doesn't happen. Now, why it doesn't happen, who cares? I don't care. I'm recording this. I'll put it out there. I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not happening. The fundamental is, and the boys have said this from the word go, is we need to be going out and talking to people. Each of the individuals that are in the family at the moment needs to learn and be comfortable to go and talk to people. We're not going to reverse. In the crowd, we're not. In the local crowd, we're not. We need new people. I'm now going to breakfast after breakfast locally now that I'm back in the zone again. Going to breakfast and introducing people at breakfasts and whatever out in the local area, and doing it that way, where I get to speak to a group of people. And the next thing will be, in 2 weeks' time, they'll let me spend 20 minutes and I'll have a crowd of 20 people there who are focused on and have an obligation inside that breakfast thing for me to support them in their business and for them to support me in my business. And that is a fertile ground, because if you go into one of those meetup groups or a breakfast club, the essence behind that is business people get together to support each other in their businesses. That's the baseline. In other words, I'm obligated to talk to those 20 people about the businesses that they have. Obligated. Part of the deal, don't come if you don't do this. Make a 20-minute opportunity to talk to them, understand their business, and then give them leads. Give them as many leads. Anybody that you know about, if they're in insurance, whatever it is, that's your obligation, and it works in reciprocity. It means that if they want access to my database, then how many of those people are going to say, shit, yeah, sure, here's $100? It's a fertile ground of new people.
So I've had 2 inquiries this afternoon based on what I did this morning so far.
Yep.
It's a start.
Great, mate. Your numbers, it's again what I've said. You've been said in the thing. You've got to go out and get all those no's.
Yeah, and I agree. And
you get better. You get better at what you're doing.
And based on what you've just said, 1 fresh lead is worth 10 non-fresh leads.
Boom, boom. It's 1 to 10 for me at the moment. That's how it's going. Different if you.
So I'm pretty happy. I'll answer those emails when I get a chance, but that's good. You've got bookings. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, well, look, and you know as well, it's getting over that threshold for the people we're talking about. Not so much as for people who've had a bit of experience at it. It's getting over the threshold and into where you are talking to someone about it and doing it effectively. Just with that first few minutes, that first 5 minutes, we're talking about fresh, never been seen before, or people that we've seen before, maybe haven't seen them for a long time, and we're going to work our way into a conversation that we get to talk about something that they will be interested in. So there's some steps that we need to get along in the meet and greet and in the way that we treat them, and a little bit of stuff that we can learn there. So you get to a point where you can say, look, if I can show you something, how would you feel? Would you be interested in if I showed you something that could turn $100 into $133 in the next 10 days? Should I continue this discussion with you? Would that be something that would interest you? Yes or no? And if they say no, no. After you've led into a discussion with them, which is you've done your meet and greet, you're in the right mode, you haven't tried to bustle them over or whatever, you just put something like that to them, and they say no, well then there's the likelihood of us spending the next half an hour trying to convince them move on to the next. Do you mind if I just keep you in touch with what's going here? Yes or no? Just little things. Different with different markets, but I think we need to be out comfortably. We've learned something comfortably out talking to people we've never met before. I think beats the hell out of going to a whole bunch of trouble and having a meeting at a place that's blah 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 and you get 5, 10, 15 people there. For a lot of trouble. Dave, you spoke to how many people today? 20.
It's gone, Phil.
Kind of gone.
Yeah.
20?
Yeah, 20.
All right. Okay. So here's the first thing that happened. How good were you talking to the last 3 or 4 after you'd done 17 before that?
Yeah, of course. I got better with objections and you learn,
Totally different deal. You were more comfortable about it at the end of the day, whether it was working. So at the end of the next 20, again,
I really wanted to do it, and when it came to the crunch, I thought, oh, is this a good idea? And then 5 into it, I was just walking around the car park, shaking people's hands. Hey, I'm an Uber driver. This is what I'm into. I've done well out of this. I'd like to, put this together, educate people, blah, 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 blah. Real simple.
And you find what works as you work it through.
Yeah. And then, and then have you got any crypto and what do you know about crypto and all that type of stuff?
Yeah. Yep.
I got a few people that have said to me, I've read about it, but I'd like to know more. I don't understand it. And then, well, that's what we're here. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
Well, that's right. And then linking it to something that you've found out of that is of value to them.
And then just showing them, and then just going and say, hey, just email here and just tell them what time you want to go and book yourself in.
Yeah. My son needs a new car. My daughter's having a baby. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is that they actually tell you during the conversation that's meaningful to them, you tie it back to that. So there's a reason or a why for them that sits in place to say, I need to follow this up. Heading up to Christmas, it's busy, but I think my feeling is that right now there is an expectation out there that, oh my God, no one will be interested right now because getting up close to Christmas or whatever it may be. So we need to encourage people not to be like that, to just get out and make it easy, get some coaching, get some to and from, and be comfortable in a place where you can come on. I've had a couple of people come online and say, all right, let's just one-on-one, let's do this. Let's talk about it. So I've been the person, I've rung them, I've spoken to them, and then said, okay, come on, I'll be the person, you ring, as though you're ringing me, let's just work our way through it. By the time we do this 5 or 6 times, you'll be feeling better about it. And it works perfectly. And in leadership, I think that's what our job is to help people, encourage them to do get out and talk to people, or the next door neighbour, or whatever it is, and just have their head around it. So, Madam Serena, have you got something you want to say, sweetheart?
No, I've only just come on. I forgot this was even on.
Yep, I noticed you. Yeah, I noticed you popped on a few minutes ago. So really, all we're covering here is we're recording this, so I'll have it if people want to have it. But we've talked about the need for, because you haven't necessarily been around in the lead up to all of the last year and a half for us has been, particularly in the last 6 or 8 months up to June, the beginning of this year up to June, it's been a pretty easy story to tell about, hundreds of percents of rise in the general market and all the positivity about it. And we've had a story wrapped around that with the coffee table thing that Andrew very cleverly created. Great story, easy to do. This is the problem. Here's our solution. Come on board. We've got the experience now to know that if we can have someone come in with $100, the stats will tell us that those people will reinvest as time goes by. We've had the cleverness of the 1,000 coins and the cleverness of the marketing campaign that's promising price rises on a regular basis, so that we've got the stats back there. This has gone up 133% this year, folks, and so on and so forth. So now we're in a little bit of a slightly different situation where we've got market moving solidly sideways, and now solidly in the general market, solidly into a downward trend to the point where there's a reason for it. But I think we have to be very confident in terms of what we're putting over is, folks, this is just the way any market works. It goes up, it goes down, and the further it goes down, the more it's going to rise as it moves forward. The concept, the conversation now for me is moving into the real credibility of the concept of cryptocurrency, the China's, the massive situation of China's, and certainly the New York Stock Exchange. We need some more costs on the other exchanges setting up if we can get it from Ed and so forth. And all of this market credibility on the stage of the future. And what a great thing it is at the moment that it's becoming cheaper for us to actually get in now. If we wanted to buy some cryptocurrency, we've got a great opportunity now to be buying it at a price that it was, it's half the price it was, only 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's just a little different in the terms of what we're actually talking about. But I think it's got to be credibility. And of course, and as I said earlier to April, and I think agree, is that we then clarify the difference between us of being just a bunch of people who are rattling around a bunch of coins into introducing them to a relatively easy to understand picture that we are an enterprise crowdfunding organization with a much bigger picture around what we're doing. We've been shunned 6 months for us to go down this track, and there's 2 reasons for it. One, it can get us off into a a discussion where we can get out of our depth about the detail, and we don't want to do that. And secondly, it brings into discussion the possibility that we will be moving into a discussion that revolves around the word investment, because the reality of this is, the reality of what we're doing is, there's no doubt about what we are in is an investment platform, but we don't have a license at this point in time to be talking about that in more than just general terms. If our conversations can be deemed and recorded by somebody who hates us and wants us to fail, then they're only going to record a couple of our conversations mentioning the word investment, which could bring the whole of our platform to disrepute and into complete collapse. And Dave and I have had an absolutely a vivid account of what happens when the Australian Security Investment Commission hears people talking about investment outside a thoroughly licensed situation. They will bring the organisation to their knees very quickly. They've promised it and they've done it before. In our history, we've seen it happen. So I believe it's necessary for us to embrace the fact that we are a different animal than a bunch of people running around jingling coins and hoping for the best. That we have a bigger picture that will unfold when the licenses become available and as we steady up. We've now got ourselves an Australian headquarters. You know, we've got infrastructure beginning to build this platform. So the long-term vision of the company, of course, is a wonderful crowdfunding enterprise organization that will end up seeing us be paid on the fruits of our work that we're doing now in the form of our ability to have the opportunity to invest in the future when the platform is built. So there's just a little bit of carefulness needed to be talked about. I think to let people know that we're not just a crowd bunch of people, that they're not just a bloody coin bunch of people, that there's a big picture here, and then have some comfortable rhetoric around the fact that we're building for the future, folks. We're building a platform that we will unfold in next year, which will show you what the bigger picture is of what we're going to do with all this work that we've done. And it is a very, it's not just a bunch of coins rattling around in our pockets or, resting on the fact that the coins are going to go up in value either. We're going to put these coins to work, and we're going to be able to benefit from what happens with those coins once they're put to work. And you'll notice I'm very carefully not mentioning investment here. If we can say things like we can put these coins that we're accumulating here to work without saying the word investment. There is a bigger picture here, folks.
Let's just go through those 3 points again. That's really good what you just said then, that we're not just a bunch of people with coins rattling around in our pocket.
Yes.
And then that was the first point. And the second point was that you said we have a purpose in investing in the coin.
No, not investing in the coins. We're accumulating coins.
All right, accumulating.
Our vehicle of choice in this project that we have at the moment is cryptocurrency coins. We have our own, which is a very unique and highly technical, highly specialized coin. That is our coin of choice, and we are building our organization around that coin. Right. So, however, we are involving ourselves, of course, in the cryptocurrency legendary paradigm change that's happening worldwide, and we're building and accumulating coins so that at the appropriate time next year, we'll be able to put those coins to work for the benefit of the members of this organization. And that's the big picture that will be revealed next year, folks. In the first quarter of next year, we'll be revealing that picture, and that's what we're doing. Right now, we're hard at work accumulating these coins, which are right now feeding perfectly for us into a better buying position than what they were 6 months ago. So the market's working very much in our favor for our plan, which is to accumulate the coins. So we're turning what a picture could look like if we were talking, oh, wow, we're going to make a lot of money because the coins are going up, into a picture that says, look at this great opportunity for us to accumulate the coins at a better price now. It's just turning the picture around, that's all, about what we're doing. So, and, everything is going to come from a conversation. And, so our conversations have to be, my belief is our conversations have got to be re-engineered a little, because before, 6 months ago, we were talking about, hello, my coins that I bought 3 months ago are up 200%. So they were $100 before, they're now $250 worth of value. Well, we can't be out in the street with that story anymore.
But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, Bill, what I brought up on the other call on Sunday night is that a lot of people, let's say, in our age bracket, maybe younger, a bit older, they do have some money, and a lot of people have realised, well, that doesn't just make them happy. So a lot of people really want purpose along with their wealth.
Okay.
Right? Yep. So, to bring in the crowdfunding vision of being able to accumulate the coins, to help fund certain projects that are going to be set up in the future.
Well, it's about the skill, and it's about your skill and us teaching people about the skill of identifying what is important to the person who's in front of us.
Yeah,
there's going to be a small percentage of those people who say, I'm not going to be involved in anything that's killing animals or digging more oil out of the ground. No, I completely agree with you there. So
the thing is, what is important to them? Interest in the crowdfunding thing at all. We're not, but we're giving people.
Okay, April, you've got a problem with your microphone. One, every time you move, it makes a lot of noise on the screen here, and your voice fades out. You can't hear it.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, better now. Yep.
So what you've just said is we're accumulating the coins, and there's going to be vehicles through which we can utilize those coins for purposes like crowdfunding and so on. So people are fueled by accumulation at this moment, and also by possibly being able to fund into things that are important to them.
Yes, well, that's right. I think, okay, so in the general statement is, look, if we leave it just for the first point, is in our discussion, whoever we're talking to about this, whether it's a crowd or whatever, when you're crowd-centric or you're talking one-on-one, the number one thing is, one, be prepared.
Yeah.
Two, be prepared in yourself. Be ready, in terms of being able to be your best self. Secondly, is that to keep it simple and to work as quickly as you can and efficiently as you can to find out what is important to the person that you're talking to. And because it's going to be different with everybody. What is important to you? We're talking, yes, about money and whatever, but, again, if you're talking to someone who's our age, then that it's probably going to be a different ethic and a different importance than to talking to my son, who's a millennial rather, who is struggling and now realizes that he needs to accumulate and he needs to get his act together.
That's right.
Our skill in going to and in assessing as quickly as we can, if we're talking to someone that's above 50 or below 50 or even below 30, then we can begin the conversation differently. We can know almost certainly that then what they want and what they need and what they're interested in is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
So, yes, as you say, is that find out if someone's openly passionate about the fact that, and millenniums are certainly like this, the fact that the right thing has got to be done. And who is this organization? And how is it going to be governed? And are we going to be the sort of people that just, and whatever, that get the integrity and whatever. So that's the way the conversation goes with them. So in your crafting of your discussions, the line is, what are we doing? We're accumulating coins because the world is recognizing and moving to alternative currencies right now. So an outstanding opportunity is ours right now to be on the front end of an absolute paradigm shift that is bigger than probably anything we've seen in the recent 100 years. Now, is that happening? Well, if it was happening, you can imagine the opportunity there, right? Do China, do New York Stock Exchange, is that credible? Do you see what's going on here? You've now got our gold, places like the Perth Mint creating cryptocurrency out of gold coins. Folks, there's so many indications here that cryptocurrency is here to stay, that if you go looking for them, you'll find them at any credible level. Why wouldn't you want to be in on something like this? If that, my word is, just say it was true. You would want to be ready. And there's enough indications out there in the story of China. If that doesn't have people saying, holy shit, really? Or New York Stock Exchange, $300 million they spent just to create a Bitcoin exchange so that somebody like Fidelity could put $1 billion in it. Are you kidding? Where can I read that? Go to this. Go, and you've got to have it ready. I'm going to send you the Google things for you. Have a look at this, because, folks, it doesn't, for you to take $100 out of your bank account, get yourself set up to be ready here, is all I'm talking to you about. And what I can guarantee you, and this is a guarantee, don't use this very often, on the 6th of November, that $100 that you funded into this little Dacxi thing to learn about will be worth 33% more than what you initially put in the next 10 days. Now, I can guarantee you that. Unless the sun doesn't come up and it's all over, that is what's going to happen. And if you like the rest of us, and this is the reason why we're excited about this, folks, we've seen 100% rise so far this year in this project that we love so much. Is this something, I'm making sense to you here? Yes or no? Oh, well, yeah, okay, all right. Well, look, this is what I think you should do. So it's relatively simple. We're buying and accumulating coins for our project, and next year we're going to put those coins to work for us in our enterprise crowdfunding arrangement that will knock your socks off when you see what it's about. So it kind of, well, what are you talking about? Okay, now we're engaged in a conversation. What do you mean you're accumulating coins? I didn't say we're investing in coins. We're accumulating these coins. One, we believe, and we've got pretty good evidence to believe, the world is moving this way. Alternative currencies are here to stay, and we're on the front edge of a big change here, folks. Governments.
Wow. Yeah.
Even the story,
Yeah.
I always say this project has Australian government licensing. So I'm not talking to you. You can't say scam and Australian government licensing in the same sentence. So even if they were thinking, is this one of those scams? They say, hang on a sec. This is an Australian government licensed project, folks. It's not just a bunch of people wandering around jingling coins in their pocket. This is. I wouldn't be talking to you about this unless I was, I'm onto something here. And it's not, it's something. There's an opportunity for you here. And at the back end of this conversation, if it continues, I'm only saying to you, would you consider taking the money that you'll probably spend next Friday on a few beers and putting it into an account that's going to go up 33% in the next 10 days? That's going to be the comment. So I'm not talking to you about, big discussions about super or anything like that. I'm simply saying to you, something's going on out there that you probably don't know about, that we're just letting people know about. And that I thought of you, and that's why I'm talking to you about it. Are you interested in continuing the conversation, yes or no? Well, what is it? By that time they should be, so along those lines.
Yeah.
Keeping it simple. Something's going on out there. A group of us have got together where we're onto this. There's something big going on out there, and I thought I'd want to talk to you about it. And then you just go the credibility angle. China, did you know about this? Most of them won't know about it. Oh, but what about it going down? Yeah. There'll be this is a big issue here. And along the way, there'll be movement up and down as it sets itself up. You think about it, not even your grandfather was involved in anything as big as this. He's been using fiat currency since he was born. Right now, alternatives to fiat currency are being moved into the world and used, and it's going to be, this is a big deal we're talking to you about here, folks. It's not happened before. So, do you mind if I have 3 more minutes of your time, or you're done with this conversation? That's what I keep doing. So saying to people, look, hey, I'll get them on the phone. And I say to them, look, talk to them. How you going? How's it all going? And I've done a video on this. How are you? How's it looking? What's it going for you? Hey, can I have first of all, can I have 30 seconds of your time? I want to talk to you about something. Or I'm onto something here and I want to talk to you about it. Can you spare me 30 minutes to a minute? 30 seconds to a minute. Right. And then I say to them straight up, do you know about the concept of the new currencies that are being released into the world at the moment? Big time. Are you aware of the difference this is going to make in the way we live? Yes or no? If they say, oh, what are you talking about? Cryptocurrency? I say, well, digital currencies is part of what I'm talking about. Yes. Do you know about it? Oh, it's a fucking scam. Well, hang on a sec. As I said before, when the 30 seconds is not up yet, a bunch of us have actually got involved and had a good look, been studying now for a while, and we're onto a project that has actually got Australian government licensing, so it's not likely to be any scam. We've done some homework here, and we've already had some pretty astounding benefits from it. So we're simply talking about something that's actually working. Now, my 30 seconds is up. Should I carry on this conversation any further? Or do you feel you wouldn't, no matter what, you wouldn't be interested? Because I'm not here to waste your time. We're helping people I don't know what you've got working for in your life right now, but I guarantee you there's not much in your life that's going to go up 33% in the next 10 days. And I'm going to be talking to you about something that's going to guarantee you that. Should I continue the conversation? The next part of the conversation is going to take 3 minutes. Would you like to continue the conversation? I'm okay. I'm good both ways. I know you're busy, whatever, but this could be something that's important to you. What do you think? Boom, boom. You can practice that and have your own practice around it. If we're talking about this is a cold, this might be a warm market that but somebody you might not have spoken to for a year.
Yeah.
They're hurting. They're not making money on it. They're not. There's very few. 1 in 10 of them is going to say, you know what, I made more money in the last 6 months than I've made in the last 2 years. Very few of them are going to say that. And if they do say that, all the more reason for them to say, well, okay, what are you talking about here? Yeah, I'd like to make 50%. Okay. I know I've worked hard for the money I've made in the last 6 months. So what are you talking about? Let's have a bit more of it. They're more likely to say that. And the other ones, are going to have some sick reasons for, oh, nothing works for me or whatever. And, okay, well, look, maybe, but it's all about what Dave was talking about. I bet you Dave's spoken to more people today than he's spoken in probably the last 6 months. And he's feeling much better at the back end of 19 no's or 18 no's and 2, yeah, hey, I want to know about that, yeah.
It's like
Pardon?
Getting the nose from the good old days.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, we're used to it, Dave. We know that, that no means no, and it's fine. It's one step closer to yes.
Phil,
yep.
Remember what they used to say? If you want a job that everyone says yes in, go get a job in McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, there you
Can
go.
I help you? Yes.
Yeah. And we're sitting on we're sitting on a. I was thinking about it today. The more this goes down, and I really seriously believe that Bitcoin will go to 4,500. But it's so exciting when you think about what's going to happen after that. When the people that have got the $1 trillion that they're sitting on, and the reason they've spent $100 million or $200, $300 million setting themselves up ready, they are going to bail in, and that's going to be a party at Phil Saunders' house, and it'll happen in April. And it will be a party, I'm telling you, that you guys will want to be at.
Phil?
Yeah.
Okay, if I can just interrupt.
Sure.
Two things that have come up for me.
Yep.
I've just read an article that Mark Zuckerberg's in Washington today as well. That's why there was a bit of a dump, and he's gone into pitch Washington. So let's watch that. Also, April, if you have somebody who is interested in the crowdfunding, forget about the Dacxi crowdfunding at the moment. The reason why I'm getting involved and why I have so much Dacxi is that I have my own little projects that I want to do and help people.
Yes, well, yeah.
So
that's
if you come across people who are interested in the crowdfunding, they should put more in, or they should get more on board, because they can actually fund the personal stuff for them.
Yes.
Which is
that's a very good point, Dave, because remember, did you get the essence of that, April?
Yeah.
We are going to be able to actually do these loans ourselves.
Yeah.
Our little projects that we've always, like, I've got a handful that I go, I'd really love to do that. So there's a lot around my son's school. He lives out in the country.
Yeah.
I'd love to put air conditioning in rooms for everybody.
That's
there.
such a good point, Dave. It's not just about the Shark Tanks.
No.
It's about the Phil and Dave and April project within the Dacxi.
Or anybody else who's interested in crowdfunding. Absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
I completely. Now, what a major that is. Thank you for that. I'd completely forgot. I was only thinking Shark Tank, and that's good. But I've forgotten the fact that we're in the game of being able to actually, because of the way this platform's set up, we can be offering personal loans out to people if we want to.
And not just personal loans, but we can actually fund projects that.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I've just forgotten for a minute there that.
Phil, you'll have enough coins, you can fund a lot of stuff, so it's all good.
Well, so will you by that time.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I have my list of things I want to do to save the planet and help with my local community. So.
Yep. So that's a great reminder, and I think that's a point that I'm going to bring up, because when you're talking to those people, April, who are saying I've got a passion for something, you can speak directly to that. Yeah. What a great idea for them to get a group of people themselves together who feel like they feel, create 5 or 6 million DAC, wait until the DAC goes to $1. They've now got $5 or $6 million to just operate their own project within the DAC world.
Yeah.
I just completely forgotten about that. I was thinking it purely along the lines of it being purely the Shark Tank stuff.
Yeah.
Which will be beautiful for us because we'll have a lot of the work done, but the projects that we can put on, and I think that will be that. I think that at that stage, you will have because publicity will flow from that. Social networks will go crazy with that. Hey, shit! I'm just starting to think about that now. That's another market for us completely. Because inside this particular platform, we actually open up a collective arrangement for people to use their DAC within groups, within the whole thing. We could have 1,000 people who just collectively put their DAC coins together in an internal organisation inside the Australian DAC that might do any project, because they're a collective group. The 3 or 4 of us could say, right, between us we could accumulate, say 10 million DAC, do whatever we need to do to help it rise, get out there and be going for it, and then have just purely a collective social network inside the DAC ourselves, and then roll that project out to suit ourselves using the DAC. That's incredible. I had never thought of that. Unbelievable.
We don't have to wait for everybody else.
No, that's right. I've forgotten about that completely. I'm going to talk to that Uncle Ed about that. After I have my little chat with him, I'm going to have a little man-to-man with him, of course, and see if I can get him to.
Well, I think everybody has what they, and I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Yep. My son goes to school with a laptop, and his best mate don't have one. Everybody in that classroom should have a laptop.
Yep.
So I'm going to do my best in my ability. When the time comes, everybody will have a laptop.
Right. No. Okay. Well,
so that's just a very small thing, but an example.
Well, you could probably enrol a whole bunch of people in and around that school, or you could enrol possible people in organisations that are supportive. You've got a whole bunch. This is one of the things about what's going on with baby boomers at the moment, because a lot of them are set up with super and so forth, but they could be approached en masse on a group to say, involve yourself in this, and they would involve themselves by joining the Dacxi and buying a whole bunch of Dacxi coins. Part of your project inside the deal. Love it. There's just so much can be done there. All right, so
I'm going to go now.
Yeah, we're playing through our second hour, so we've done it again.
It's been great, Phil. It's been good.
All right.
And
good.
Rena. So
hi.
Food for thought. Hi.
Serena, you've been quiet, love. You've got anything to say before we disappear?
No. Oh, well, not really.
Okay.
Well, not for my people anyway, because my people have been trained that they're not allowed to say investment.
That's right.
All right. So it just doesn't, that doesn't even bother me, because I know they don't say it.
Well, we can say things like we're putting our comments to work.
At the moment, what I'm doing is, you know, everybody knows about Bitcoin. Well, not everybody, but most people know about Bitcoin. And we talk. I'm different. I can speak to people differently to how my people in my group speak to other people. But what I did was I actually brought out a lengthy post, and it was in regards to the American, what's happening in America, which is leading up to China. All right.
Pardon?
So I said what I did was I brought out a lengthy post.
Yes.
And it was in regards to America, what's happening in America, and leading up to what's happening in China.
Yes.
Now those two posts have brought a lot of people to me.
All right.
All right.
How do I see those posts? What have I got? What
I think Andrew read it, and I was talking to Andrew this morning. He goes, "That is amazing what you put up there." He said, "It's lengthy," and I said, "Well, it has to be, because it's actually telling you everything of what's going on." I mean, you know, like, when was it? Last Wednesday, America printed $75 billion worth of paper money.
They what?
You know, they printed $75 billion worth of paper money.
Yeah, which they've been doing for a while.
Yeah. Oh, they've done it all their life.
You didn't answer the question, love. How do I get in front of these posts that you're making?
Oh, I have to give them to you. I'll give them to you.
So I can't join a group. I can't join this group of yours, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah, you can if you like.
Well, how do I join it? What's the name of the group?
I'll send you a link.
Please do.
I'll send you a link. Yeah.
Can you send me the link too, Serena?
Yeah, I can send you all the link.
Did you put the link? Did you put the link for this post? Did you put it anywhere up on any of our stuff?
No, because that's your group. That's your guys' group. This is only for my people that are outside. Yeah,
it relates to other things, but it sounds like an incredible post to me. So I'd like. How can I see it?
It's actually out on Facebook under my name, just under my name. I have it in the group as well as out on Facebook as well. Because that's how Andrew managed to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's your Facebook name then?
What we're doing at the moment with those posts is we're talking to people about what's going on.
Right.
You know, what's happening. Blah, blah, blah. Once you start that conversation, they're like, well, you know, what do we do about this? And then we go into the Dacxi economy.
So just in 2 minutes, tell us what was the crux of the hard hitting stuff that was in that post.
And the one about the US, you know, about the US economy and everything like that. I think the most important part was where there was a part there where it says, this is why Bitcoin matters. And they're trying to tell the people, you know, explain to the people why Bitcoin matters. You need Bitcoin. You're going to need Bitcoin eventually in the end. And it's just it is a lengthy post. I can't even remember half of it, to be honest.
Right. Well, that's that.
Reading it.
Yeah. Yep. And from that, like what I've said to my people is, start off with that. A lot of people don't understand what is actually going on over there.
Right.
All right. So start off with that. Once you've dwelled in that a little bit with them, tell them that this is what's happening in China. So when you put both of these together, what do you get? And they're like, yeah, okay, they're talking about that. Then they go into the reason why you need Bitcoin. You know, this is what we're doing. This is how you can accumulate your Bitcoin. It's through the Dacxi economy ecosystem here.
Yeah.
It's simple. 3 steps. Register, verify, purchase, start accumulating some Bitcoin.
That's good.
So
A safe place to do it. See, that's clever.
Yeah, I make sure my people do not spend more than 5 to 10 minutes speaking to people.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
I say to them, if you are going over 10 minutes, you are wasting your time.
Right.
Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, he's in one of my leaders, he's in Ireland. I mean, he's cracking it. He's bringing people left, right, and centre. You know, but what we're doing with all of our people is it's not just for each and every individual that's bringing their own people on. We are actually spreading all these people out amongst everybody in the group.
Good.
You know, we want everybody to have a slice of everything like everyone else.
Yes.
You know, just to keep them up there. But I have not had, nor have any of my people had anything bad. They haven't had negative, you know, feedback or reviews about it at all. They like it, but what their problem is right as you know, as most people say, well, you know, Christmas is just about coming up. We really don't have the spare cash, and we're like, okay, that's fine. You know, when you're ready, but most of them come back anyway.
Yeah.
They'll think about it, go away, come back, and they'll say, oh, hey, can I just sign up? Yeah.
Well, if they're getting in with $100, that's, you know, they can save up $20 for 5 weeks. You know.
Yeah.
I've got pensioners in Victoria and in Tasmania who are just over the moon with their Dacxi. They save up 5 weeks, put another 100 in.
Yeah, well, that's what I've said to a lot of people. If you can't afford $100, and you might want to pay $25 a week.
Yeah.
If you can afford it.
4 weeks, they're done.
It's only going to take you 4 weeks. Once you've got that $100, you're on.
Yep.
You know, you might not qualify for this or qualify for that, whatever they're putting out, but still, at the end of the month, you can put yourself onto it. So,
well, if they put $100 into Dacxi before the 5th, they're still going to make 33% on that.
Yeah.
So that's that in itself. They've got themselves a secure account and so on.
That's a good percentage, eh?
Yeah. Pretty good interest.
Mm. Yeah. Better than a bank.
So are you going to put your link here on their chat box, or are you going to send it to me email?
Who, you talking to me, Phil?
Of course, love.
Oh, yeah. You
can put it in the chat here if you like.
You don't use Messenger, do you?
Me?
Phil, I've just posted it. It's in Messenger for you. I just posted it to you.
Oh, did you? Okay, you've got that's Serena's. Okay, fantastic. That's in my Messenger. Okay, well that's good because I'll you know, you're a bloody source of you know, source of real inspiration, sweetheart. So
yeah, I think we've got a few people coming up to. No, we've got a few people going. No, we've got a few people going down to Andrews this weekend. And then we'll come up there.
Up to Brisbane? You're going to have some people at the Brisbane event?
Yeah. Yeah. I've got to organise it tomorrow night when they all come over.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a few of them.
Is there anything we can do to help you there?
No. We're just trying to work out who's working, who's not working, who's coming, you know, stuff like that. Okay. No, that's fine. No.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you'll find probably if you're going to bring a few people, you know, how many people do you think you might have it on the 9th and the 10th? Roughly how many people do you think you might have there as a guess?
Probably maybe personally myself, I think, because I know the ones that do have to work, I'd say about 10, 15 maybe.
Right, we'll say there was 10 of them.
Yeah.
You tell them that Phil Saunders is going to scout them a drink when they get there.
That's nice. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
No matter if it's a wine or a beer.
Yeah.
If they're friends of yours and you're bringing 10 along, I'm buying each and every one of them a beer.
Oh, that's nice.
And April's friends.
Yeah.
April's friends as well, of course.
Yeah.
April's here on the court. She knows that.
Yeah. No, but the investment word is not a good thing to say.
No,
I still see it out there. See it out there. Like people come to me and say, look, you want to invest in this? And I said, I don't invest in anything when you call it an investment.
That's right. No, it's just plain clever.
Yeah, and they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, because you shouldn't be telling me that it's an investment.
Not unless you got a license.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, look,
So
we covered it earlier, but you're right onto it. It's and look, we can put our coins to work.
Yeah.
And not use the word investment. It's still, it's still to get the message across in people language, but we've got to be clever and we've got to be careful. And that is absolute gold, because every one of our people who's promoting or talking about this has got to know we do not use that word. Because
it is, and it's something that needs to be recognised with a lot of people. I mean, I'm okay. I don't have to worry about that because, we know about it. But for people that don't know anything about Bitcoin, for people that are only learning about this, it's something that needs to be stipulated over and over again, so they understand it. Because at the moment, what's happening, what I've seen while I'm out there promoting and talking to people, is they want something now, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, you can have this now, but don't expect to get big returns now. If you sit on it and hold it until we do this, this, and this, then you're going to see some money.
Yep.
But wouldn't you prefer to be in a program that's longevity, that's going to continue carrying on and on, instead of being in that crowdfunding platform over there that's going to pay you for what? 1 week, and once your recruiting stops and your referrals stop coming in, that's it. Yeah, there's a no-brainer, Yeah.
Serena, can I just ask you quickly? You said register, verify. You had 4 steps.
Oh, so, register plus verify plus purchase.
Oh, purchase. Yeah.
Equals payout.
Equals payout, and you said start accumulating was one of your fourth point.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Very helpful, all of you. Very helpful. Really good.
Yep.
So,
all right, we're good. Yeah, so I'll make sure I go and have a look at that. I'll look at that tonight. I know Zuckerberg's because they're having problem. When Ed began to talk to us about Libra, he said how incredibly important it was that there was something to match what the Chinese were doing, and the banks unfortunately have moved to try and obstruct the Libra coin, and there's a lot of trouble around it. MasterCard and Visa have abandoned. Of course, they've had pressure put on them from the banks, and now the projects they're talking about the project stumbling as being the possibility. But
because the thing is with the Libra coin, all right, is they're still waiting for these companies to put in their $10 million each. It's not going to happen. The institutions don't want to be in.
Right. Interesting.
And you'll read about that. You'll read
about
that.
Well, the good thing, of course, for it, it's only all power. All that power will move back to Bitcoin.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Phil, can you send me that link when Serena sent it to you?
Yep. Well, Dave's now got the he's got the link. I'll send you the link to the Facebook. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks. Great.
Okay.
Okay, Phil.
All right. Fantastic.
No
fantastic.
Onward and Dacxi upwards.
That's for sure. Thank you, Serena. Thank you, folks.
Okay.
We had that little talk. Something about don't drop your Dax.
Pardon?
We had that little talk at one of the meetings in the afterwards. Don't drop your Dax.
That's for sure. Unbelievable. Don't drop your Dax. It's bloody beautiful. What I was going to say is I haven't finished off the registration, Dave, for you for the 21st and 22nd in Brisbane for the conference we're going to. Have you registered yet, April?
No, I've been out all day. I'll do it in a couple of days.
Serena, you may be interested in that one as well.
Yeah.
Harry Dent. There's a free. You may or may not. It's
yeah.
I think we'll possibly pick. I think what's going to happen there, by the look of the write up around it, it's going to be very much a story about why you need to be in crypto. And
it's not only going to be crypto though, Phil.
Pardon?
It's
not only going to be crypto. That's okay.
Well, the presentations are, there's certain experts.
Yes.
And they give their, you know, their reason for doing what they're doing.
Yep.
And then obviously there's a sales part to it where they sign you up for different courses.
Yeah, they can. You can do. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we don't have to do that. But I'm
No.
saying, but part of the main one I wanted to go to was Aiden's.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, so I'm going to have my son come up as well. So it'll be a good chance to get together with Dave and you and whoever's going to be there. I think there'll be some value out of it, and there'll be a good chance for us to be also out talking to Dacxi people in Brisbane, which I haven't done. I've got a lot of friends in Brisbane. I haven't spoken to a lot of them, so I'll be trying to do that in the next few days. All right, go.
Yeah, I like the terminology tonight. It's good. We've got terminology that's not selling. It's good.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay, everyone. Night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you again, everybody. Dave, do you want to stay on and have a yarn?